You talk about taking time off from pro wrestling. The thing is, I think once everybody grows up, right, there's kind of that period where wrestling isn't really cool anymore. But now wrestling's back at it. Why do you think wrestling right now is so white hot? Because you could say since the Attitude Era, this is probably the most popular it's ever been, especially when you look at all the global properties, that these companies are really tapping into right now. What do you think it is about this era right now where people are really starting to latch on to pro wrestling again?
There's a lot of different pieces of the pie. I think accessibility is a big part of it. Social media and YouTube started to trend in upward directions. Streaming services, obviously, WWE specifically was way ahead of the curve in terms of streaming services and platforms like that, and they've continued to be just in terms of hopping on to Peacock and Netflix and all that stuff, and their the TV rights deals that they have too. But ultimately, it's just right now specifically, like past 3 or 4 years, it's ultimately boiled down to competition. Right? There's multiple ways to consume professional wrestling. When I started in 2012, when I started training in 2012, it was really WWE, and then a pretty decent drop to TNA, and then pretty much nothing else. This was at a point where I was actively looking for content to consume because I was just starting training as a pro wrestler, so I wanted like as many current matches as I could possibly get. And even like Ring of Honor at that point was extremely hard to find. It was on like HD Net or something, and I could barely find it. Then there was another. I had to really scour my my on Comcast to find any pro wrestling content, and YouTube was a little thin at that point. So yeah, now it's not hard to find tons of streaming services. You can find IWTV. Tons of stuff on YouTube. MLW streams on YouTube, and then AEW has channels. There's multiple pro wrestling shows on actual cable channels and stuff. So it's just an overload of content. And when you have that much competition, obviously the content itself is going to elevate just based on the competition. So yeah, I think that's kind of where we are right now, where there's just so many options and so much to consume that everybody's competing with one another, and that drives the business forward, in my opinion.